Hi, this is Dr. Kwan. Welcome to Module 1. In this module, we are going to discuss about an overview of financial planning and retirement. There are 4 main objectives in this module. We shall first explain how you benefit from sound financial planning. Second, identify the key components of a financial plan. Third, explain how components of a financial plan affects retirement planning. And fourth, outline the steps involved in developing your retirement plan. Retirement planning is part of personal finance. So what is personal finance? Personal finance is the process of planning your spending, financing, and investing to optimize your financial situation. A personal financial plan specifies your financial goals and describes the spending, financing, and investing plans that are intended to achieve those goals. An understanding of personal finance enables you to make informed decisions about your financial situation. Each of your spending decisions has an opportunity cost, which represent what you give out as a result of specific decision. By spending money for a specific purpose, you actually forgo alternative ways that you could have spent the money and also forgo maybe saving the money for a future purpose. For example, if you have, let's say, 1,000 ringgit and you have decided to use that 1,000 ringgit to perhaps buy concert tickets or a mobile phone, so in that case, you have forgone the opportunity to save out that 1,000 ringgit for, let's say, a new car. Therefore, informed financial decisions increase the amount of money that you accumulate over time and give you more flexibility to purchase the products or services you want in the future. So what does living a good life means to you? Does it mean having the flexibility to pursue your dreams and goals in life? Is it owning a home in a particular part of a city or town, or starting a company, or being debt-free, or maybe driving a particular type of car, taking luxury vacations, or having a large investment portfolio? Clearly, no matter how you define it, the good life requires sound planning to turn financial goals into reality. So the best way to achieve financial objective is through personal financial planning, which help us to define our financial goals and develop appropriate strategies to reach them. We cannot just depend on employees or government benefits to retire comfortably. Creating flexible plans and regularly revising them is the key to building a sound financial future. Successful financial planning also brings reward that include greater flexibility and improved standard of living, wise spending habits, and also increased wealth. Well, financial planning is a dynamic process. As you move from different stages of your life, your needs and goals will change. Yet, certain financial goals are important regardless of age, such as having extra, maybe emergency funds or extra resources to buffer in an economic downturn or period of unemployment, should be always the priority, whether you are 20, 40, or 60. As we move from childhood to retirement age, we traditionally go through different life stages. So in this particular exhibit, 1.1, it illustrates the various components of a typical personal financial planning life cycle as they relate to these different life stages. From this chart, it actually presents the organizing framework of the entire financial planning process. So we are going to refer to this throughout our course as we pass from one stage of maturation to the next. Our patterns of income, home ownership, and debt also change. So from early childhood, when we maybe rely more on our parents for support, until early adulthood, when we hold our first job and start our families, we can see that there's a noticeable change in income patterns. For example, those in maybe 40s and 60s range, they tend to have higher income as compared to those below maybe the age of 40. Thus, our emphasis in life changes, so do the kinds of financial plans that we need to pursue. A complete financial plan contains your personal finance decisions related to six components, which are budgeting and tax planning, managing your liquidity, financing your large purchases, protecting your assets and income, investing your money, and also planning for your retirement and estate. So let's explore each of these components. The first component is a plan for your budgeting and tax planning. Um, Budget planning is the process of forecasting future expenses and savings that is require you to determine how you spend money and the amount to spend and how much to save. Your spending decisions are important because they actually determine how much of your income that can be used for other purposes. The first step in uh, budget planning is to evaluate your current financial position by assessing your income, your expenses, your assets, and also your liability. So your net worth is the value of how much you own minus the value of what you owe. You can measure your wealth by your net worth. As you save money, you increase your assets and therefore increase your net worth. So, budget planning enables you to build your net worth by setting aside part of your income to either invest in additional assets or reduce your liabilities. The second component is a plan to manage your liquidity. So you should have a plan for how you will cover your daily purchases. Well, your expenses can range from maybe your daily morning cup of tea to major car repair cost. So you need to have liquidity or access to funds to cover any short-term cash needs. Well, you can enhance your liquidity by utilizing money management or credit management. The third component is a plan for your financing. Loans are often needed to finance large expenditures such as maybe the payment of your car or house. So the amount of financing needed is the difference between the amount of the purchase and the amount of money that you have with you. So managing loans includes determine how much you can afford to borrow and deciding on the maturity. So, in other words, how long you will be borrowing the loan, and selecting a loan that charges a competitive interest rates. The fourth component is a plan for protecting your assets and income. So to protect your assets, you need to conduct what we call the insurance planning, which determines the types and amount of insurance that you need. In particular, maybe car insurance, homeowners insurance to protect your assets, while health insurance limits your potential of medical expenses. Disability insurance and life insurance also protect your income. The fifth component is a plan for your investing. So any funds that you have beyond what you need to maintain liquidity should be invested because these funds normally are not used to satisfy your liquidity needs. They can be invested with the primary objective of earning a higher return. So potential investment includes stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and real estates. You must determine how much of your funds you wish to allocate towards investment and what type of investment you wish to consider. Most investments are subject to risk, or we call it uncertainty surrounding their potential return. However, you need to manage them so that the risk is limited to a reasonable or tolerable level. The final component of a financial plan is a plan for your retirement and estate. And this would be the primary focus in our course this semester. It includes insurance planning, retirement planning, and also estate planning. Retirement planning involves determining how much money you should set aside each year for retirement and how you should invest those funds. Retirement planning must begin well before you retire so that you can have enough time to accumulate sufficient money to invest and also support yourself after you retire. Money contributed to various kinds of retirement plans is supported from taxes until it is withdrawn from the retirement account. And not forgetting estate planning. Estate planning is the act of planning how your wealth will be distributed before or upon your death. Effective estate planning protects your wealth against unnecessary taxes and ensures that your wealth is distributed in the manner that you desire. As you learn about each of the 6 components of your financial plan, keep in mind that your decisions about one component of the plan can affect the other components. The integration of financial plan components is covered by the end of our course. It is important to understand how components are integrated now so that you can recognize trade-off before you finalize your conclusion about any component of your financial plan. As you review the 6 components, notice that each component can help you to decide how to use cash. When you have cash, you can consider this alternative, like for instance, maybe part 1, if you have income, you can consider purchase products and services, or maybe you can deposit cash in your checking or savings account in part 2. And maybe to pay interest payments on a loan or pay off a loan for part 3. Or you can use the cash to make insurance payments, part 4, or to make a new investment, which is part 5, and also contribute towards your retirement account, which is part 6. So your optimal choice when using cash is dependent on various conditions that are explained throughout our course. Do you know your life expectancy? Well, if you are in your late teens or early 20s, you probably live another 60 or 70 years. While this prospect may sound delightful, it also brings into focus the need for careful retirement planning. After all, we may only work for about 40 of those years and then spend 20 or more years in retirement. The challenge, of course, is to do it in style, and that's where retirement planning comes into play. But to enjoy a comfortable retirement, you must start now. One of the biggest mistakes people make in retirement planning is waiting too long to begin. Well, people often get a little carried away with the amount of money they want to build out for retirement. Having a nest egg of maybe some of us would say, "Oh, I want 5 million ringgit, or 10 million ringgit, or 50 million ringgit." That would be great, but it's really beyond the reach of most people. Besides, you don't need that much to live comfortably in retirement. So set a more realistic goal. But when you set that goal, remember it's not going to happen by itself. You have to do something to bring it about, and this is precisely where things start to fall apart. Why? Because when it comes to retirement planning, people tend to make these 3 big mistakes. And the 3 biggest pitfall to sound retirement is starting too late, and also they put away too little, or in other words, saving less, and they invest too conservatively. So to do so, we have to plan carefully. There are 6 steps in developing each component of your financial plan. So let's take a look at each of the steps. So step 1, establish your financial goals. You must determine your financial goals. So first, identify your general goals in life. These goals do not have to be put in financial terms. For example, you may want to have goals such as a family, additional education, a vacation to a foreign country for 1 week every year. So you probably want to ask yourself these questions while doing the planning. Step number 2, consider your current financial position. Your decisions about how much money to spend next month, how much money to place in your savings account, or how often to use your credit card, and how to invest your money depends on your financial position. Step number 3, identify and evaluate alternative plans that could achieve your goals. It's important to identify and evaluate the alternative financial plans that could achieve your financial goals as specified in step number 1, given your financial position as determined in step number 2. So you may have to ask these questions, consider all these factors while planning. Step number 4, select and implement the best plan for achieving your goals. You need to analyze and select the plan that will be most effective in achieving your goals. Step 5, evaluate your financial plan. After you develop and implement each component of your financial plan, you must monitor your progress to ensure that the plan is working as you plan, and keep your financial plan easily accessible so that you can evaluate it over time. And last but not least, step number 6, always revise your financial plan. If you find that you are unable or unwilling to follow the financial plan that you have developed earlier, you need to revise the plan to make it more realistic. And that's the end of Module 1. I hope you find this video helpful in understanding the financial planning process and how it affects the retirement planning. Thank you for watching and happy learning.